Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Let me just check all the platforms as usual. Facebook was happening. Going to Facebook first, and then head over to LinkedIn and YouTube, and then we're good to go. We're good to go. We're good to go.
Facebook
Testing.
was happening.
Facebook, we're good. I'm working on making this process a whole lot smoother. I'm still very paranoid seeing that when I first really got into live streaming, what happened was I had recorded a whole episode, and I realized way too late that I realized after the episode it was like, it didn't like the sound wasn't there. So I had to.
We're good to go.
All right, LinkedIn, we're great. We're gravy on LinkedIn, and let me just check YouTube real quick, and we'll get right into it. You see what we'll be about today. You already see the topic. We're getting into all of that today. We are really diving deeper into the concept of attracting your tribe and how the do's and don'ts and what's going to make you actually different. Why people going to want it from you? The people you want to serve, why would they want it from you? Really,
what's going to make you actually different? Why people going to want it from you?
Right. That's where we at today. So we're all good. Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We are all good. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good whatever time it is you may be consuming this. We're back again. My name, for anybody that may be new to my world and new to this channel or new to me in general, let me just introduce myself. My name, As One Crookshank. I am your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, former Division I college football player, and current 5-time, soon to be 6-time published author and educator. What I do, what the Plus LY brand is all about, what Move Swiftly is all about, what the movement is all about, is taking the lessons that you learn on the football field, the teamwork lessons that you learn on the football field, and aligning them with business owners so they have a staff, they have a group of employees, a cohesive unit of people working underneath them that moves as efficiently and as eagerly and has that desire as a championship high school or youth football team. Notice I said championship minded, championship level, championship in terms of the way they show up every day, in terms of how they do things, in terms of what they're all about. That's the kind of culture, right? That's the kind of culture you want in your staff and your employees. You want them out there just getting after it, and getting better every single day. That allows you as a business owner to focus on what you need to be focusing on, which is making sure the money's coming in and not cleaning up bullshit that other people can clean up, but more so focusing on how the money's coming in so you can keep this hungry staff. That's how that should be the way it works. All right. So seeing that's what we're all about here today. We are going to be discussing and dissecting the top 5 ways in which you will attract, in which you should be using to attract your tribe of people. I have an article that came out today about this concept. I'll let the article play. Obviously, during the article, I'll interrupt it to bring more details of each 5 moments. The cool thing about the top 5 Tuesdays is it keeps me on track. So I'm gonna start as I move forward. I'm gonna probably start to make sure I make points, because if you think about yesterday's live stream, as I listened back to it and as I felt myself talking, there were points and there were things that were coming up that I didn't even expect to come up. And I started to realize, all right, if I'm gonna be doing these now, I got to start creating some structure. So the top 5 Tuesdays, they're always going to have structure, because it's already written down, the points I'm going to make, where I'm going to go with each point, all that kind of stuff. All right. So before I get too deep into what we're going to discuss today, let me just get through a couple announcements really, really quick. First and foremost, if you are in If you are in the West Palm Beach area, if you live in West Palm Beach and you are interested, you see it right there on the screen, and you are interested in free boxing lessons. If you're interested in free boxing lessons, I need you to hit that QR code that you see right there on the screen, or go to freeboxinglessons.makeyourmove.com, and you will be contacted and given all the details. As you can see, we had a decent showing. I do it every 2 weeks as a group leader at my church. So this is one of the things I do. Oh, the main thing I do, but as you can see right here, if you're looking at this on video, this is what it's going to be all about. It's going to be me having the mitts, jab, cross, teaching you the lessons. And then, the other folks, you're going to be doing a workout, and we'll just kind of rotate. It's a great time, great way to, meet people, get in shape, all that kind of stuff. Really, really, really fun stuff. Next thing, as I mentioned, business owners, here to serve you. freeguide.makeyourmove.com. I've created a 10-step system, a 10-step process that you can be utilizing right now as we speak to build out that cohesive unit, the cohesion in your business. Just follow the 10-step process and you will get where it is you need to get to. Next thing, tap into the patreon.com/Aswan44. We have preseason, regular season, and postseason. Wherever you are in terms of your profits and where you are financially, we have something for you that's going to make it so you're around an exclusive group of business owners where actually for everyone you get a complimentary Move Swiftly workshop. It's going to be a quick 30-minute workshop, nothing too strenuous, just to get to know me a little more and figure out how you're actually doing and start to implement the system, that's a proven system, a system in which you're going to be able to gauge how you build out your staff and how your staff is actually doing. That is so, we're going to dive deeper into this as we get into the points today, but that is so incredibly important. You have no idea with the inventions of AI, with what's happening in our government, what we are blatantly seeing is you're starting to see where, and I'm not complaining, trust me. I'm not complaining. I actually voted for this. I wanted this. All right. I wanted a system in which your actual merit, where you're actual being hired based on your merit, based on actually having some substance, as opposed to you're getting hired based on your skin color, based on your gender, based on things that you had no control over. I would prefer a system in which you're actually getting hired based on your actual ability and the substance, and you're actually good at the damn job. And they're asking questions like that and not asking questions about what race you are and what gender you are and all that kind of stuff, because you always fall into just an issue if that's going to be the conversation. All right. So all that being said, everything is available on makeyourmove.com. That's makeyourmove.com. One-stop shop for your teamwork and your self-development needs. As you can see, if you're watching this on video, you can shop, you can join the Patreon link, you can book me to speak, or if you just want to learn more about Aswan Crookshank, just hit the learn more about Aswan and figure out who this guy is. Or you can listen to the Move Swiftly podcast, which comes out, brand new episodes come out every single day. In fact, starting next week, these recordings that I'm doing, those are going to be what's going to be going on the podcast as well. So you can tune into this stuff. You can tune into it without having to, look at me via YouTube or via Facebook or LinkedIn or anything like that. So I'll start doing that as well. All right. Now that we have gotten through those announcements, let's get right into what we are discussing today. Top 5 ways to attract your tribe. Top 5. First of all, let's get a definition. So we're all on the same page. One of the things I did learn, and we're going to talk about this actually from when we get into the first point, and some of the things I learned from having a business mentor. Shout out to Dre. Is making sure that we're always getting clear on a definition of things. All right, we're always getting a clear definition on certain things, so that way there's absolutely no confusion whatsoever when I walk you through the process and what I mean, why it's important, why it's relatable, why every single point is relatable to the initial definition of the word. You cannot move forward. You cannot move forward creating your own definitions to words. This is something I've heard him say 1,000 times, and I'm biting his lyrics on this one, because I have noticed this. I've noticed this, especially since I actually already kind of started alluding to some politics and how we go about hiring folks and building businesses, and the lies that we're continuously telling ourselves. You can't go around starting to make up your own damn definition of words and then using that definition to justify your bullshit. All right, I'm gonna just say it again. Let's talk about it again. Let's be 100% honest, and let's keep it all the way a buck. You feel me? Let's keep it all the way 100. You can't start making your own definitions up for words and then using the definition that you created to justify your bullshit. All right, to justify your bullshit, to justify your excuses, to justify the things that you're wasting time on and doing over and over and over again, and that you're not seeing any results in. You can't go about doing that. If you go about doing it, ultimately the result is going to be something you don't want to have happen. You got to now make sure you're getting a clear definition on a certain word and tying in your actions with what the stuff actually means, and you'll start to see results happen in your life. You'll start to see the results in the things that you need real support in. That is something I'm living proof example of. That's something, again, I can tell you from experience, and we're going to dive deeper into this. I can tell you from experience is absolutely crucial, absolutely important, and absolutely needs to be told to you in a harsh, unfiltered way, because it creeps up into our mindset. It creeps up into our politics. It creeps up into our policies. It creeps up into the rules and the things that we constantly say to each other, and the way we find other people that allow us to justify the shit that we do. We got to stop doing that. We got to stop doing that. So all that being said, now let's get a definition of the word tribe. Tribe, a social division in a traditional society consisting of families or communities linked by social, economic, religious, or blood ties with a common culture, a dialect, typically having a recognized leader. Big part right here. Now the big part in this definition is having a recognized leader. What we are discussing today is how you are going to be that leader. By the end of today's discussion, that is what we're going to talk about. That is what we are going to absolutely have clear in our head, is how you, my friend, are going to become that leader. All right, so I'll play a lot of article to play, but I also, as it's playing, I want to make sure I'm giving you context because of how I structured the article, how I put it all out there, why it is I would choose this image, why it is I made sure it was on Medium, why it is, even though I knew I was going to be talking about making sure it's on several platforms to talk about, and why this image was probably the best one to capture everything we're going to be discussing. All right, so top 5 ways. Let me put my banner up before I forget, before I get going here. Top 5 ways to attract your tribe. Okay, as one. Love it. Love the initial. Before I even read the article, why do you pick this image to attract audience to your article? Because when we get into it, and when I let the article play and you hear it, you're going to hear that I know who my tribe of people are. My tribe of people are business, and I'm going to let it play, but business owners of 20 or more employees, coaches, in particular football coaches who have an entrepreneurial mindset, and single moms who are just trying to do right by their babies. They've made some mistakes. They've done things, whatever happened is in the past. And right now they have these beautiful, innocent babies to take care of, and they're responsible for, and they embrace that responsibility every single day without at all getting the attention or getting the notoriety that other people get. And they just simply do their jobs and do it to the best of their ability. So when it comes to that tribe of people, who better than Bobby Bowden, Bo Schembechler? Vince Dooley, actually. So when for my birthday, I actually treated myself to a trip to Atlanta to go visit the College Football Hall of Fame. And actually, it wasn't just that but when I came back, let me show you real quick. So let me take a trip down. Bear with me. Let me just take a trip down memory lane. So I drove to Panama City, went to Atlanta to go visit the College Football Hall of Fame. And then on my way back, I went to Tallahassee, and then I went to Gainesville, and this is where you see the image of me in Gainesville, and they let me walk around the stadium and all that kind of stuff. All that, just great time. It was a great 36th birthday. Just got to tell you, it was incredible. It was incredible. All right, so anyway, I was in like heaven. It felt like it was like I was around college football royalty, and just being in that room, in that museum, and seeing the memorabilia, seeing the whole thing. I knew it was going to be something that it was going to take me it was an experience that's lasts a lifetime, right? So as I thought about how to attract my tribe, or who my tribe was, and who I want to be serving day in and day out, who better than the great Bobby Bowden, right? The legendary Bobby Bowden, and then for those of you who don't know, as far as college football, my main team that I cheer for is the Michigan Wolverines. You see Bo Schembechler there, the team. But my second team is the Florida State Seminoles, and I've given, actually I have it right here. See, this is the good thing about attracting, and this is a good thing about tracking your work. Let me see if I still have it. Might not be available. Give me 1 second. It might be somewhere here. Where is it? Let's see. It might. I don't know. It might not be. Hold up. Is that it? That might be the best one I have on short notice to show you. All right. So I'll show you why, it's the Michigan Wolverines and Florida. So this team right here, the top right, was the Briggs Cheney White Oak Warriors. And you see, we used to wear the wing helmets, and then we moved over, and I'll be talking a little bit more about this tomorrow when I talk about Wintrepreneur Wednesday and my Wintrepreneur feature. But you see, we had the wing helmets, and we used to wear the Michigan colors. And then after that year, they screwed us that year. And I mean, they absolutely screwed us that year on the county and the Super Bowl championship. And then we moved over to Pop Warner the next year. And if you look closely, we used to wear the Florida State Seminole Spears. So I went from wearing the Michigan helmets to wearing the Florida State Seminole helmets, although it was silver, black, and white. But still, because of that, I have, love in my heart for the Michigan Wolverines and the Florida State Seminoles. Those are if you're talking college football, those are my teams. And this is how you know I'm a loyal fan. 2 years ago, Michigan won the national championship, went undefeated. Florida State didn't make the playoffs, but they still went undefeated, but they didn't make the playoffs because of, the technicality and how the system worked back then. I'm not really, I think the committee did get it right by leaving Florida State out, to be honest with you. But this year, they both had absolutely horrible seasons. Aside from Michigan beating Ohio State, it was a rough ride. And you saw me still, no matter what, wearing my Block M hat and supporting my guys no matter what the season is all about. Even yesterday, when I'm recording this around the time of March Madness, even yesterday, even though Michigan and Maryland are in the Sweet 16 when it comes to my college basketball teams, I wasn't fronting like, I'm such a huge Michigan and Maryland basketball fan. I told you guys straight up, I'm happy to see them doing well, but my main team is the Georgetown Hoyas, and they've been asked for, it feels like a decade at this point, right? So no matter what, if we're talking college sports, college athletics, I'm going to stay loyal to my crew no matter what. That's why, again, if you heard me talking yesterday, I was talking about how my big domino is for me to become one of those play-by-play announcers, because I work to stay very, fair and objective and things of that nature. Even though I know I got love in my heart for those two teams. I got love in my heart for the Michigan Wolverines program. I got love in my heart for the Maryland Terrapins. I got love in my heart for the Florida State Seminoles. I got love in my heart for that Georgetown Hoyas basketball program. I got love, man. All right, love. And that's why it's important for you guys to understand that too, as you're attracting your tribe. All right, I'm getting off topic. So again, I say all that to say that is why this image was like the perfect image as I was figuring out what exactly how I'm going to title it, what it is I'm going to do, where I'm going to go with it, all that kind of stuff. And as I went and I felt that energy in the College Football Hall of Fame, and you see these legends, I mean, these are football gods, man. Football gods that are touching your heart, and they're moving you in a way where you got action. All right. So I haven't even gotten to the top 5 reasons. See, this is why I got to keep myself. I got to keep myself disciplined in terms of where we get to. So let me let the article play, and then I'm going to touch on certain parts of it and where I came up with it and all that kind of stuff. So I'll let it go.
Top 5 ways to attract your tribe. Another Tuesday, which means it's time to break down a new top 5 list we can learn, grow, and develop from. This week, we're diving into the top 5 ways to attract the right people into your ecosystem every single day. Why this topic? 2 reasons. First, because I saw a real-life example play out last Thursday night. My girlfriend and I went to see a comedian we weren't exactly blown away by performance-wise. But what was impressive, she had a packed house, loyal fans, a full show. That's the power of attracting your tribe. Second, because I hold myself accountable to do a better job in this area. If you want to dig deeper, check out my video Attracting Your Tribe. Watch it here. All right, let's get into the list. 1. Be a paying member.
Real quick, let me just make sure I show you guys that. It's here on Attracting Your Tribe. Just look up As One Attracting Your Tribe and you'll find it.
Paying member. And yes, I said paying for a reason. Following someone on social media for free won't get you what you really need. If you want honest, brutally honest feedback that'll move your business forward, you've got to invest. Pay someone who's already where you want to be and let them show you what you don't know. Business requires a strong, sometimes stubborn mindset. You need someone to challenge you, guide you, and help you focus on serving the right people. For me, that clarity only came after I paid for coaching. That's how I discovered my ideal clients. Business owners with 20+ employees, single moms raising young athletes, sports coaches with an entrepreneurial mindset, and you know what their consistent complaint is.
All right, so let me pause it right there because I want to make sure I'm giving some advice here as we're moving forward on the article. How do you know? Because I'm not advocating for anyone to just blindly pay for a coach. All right, that's something that actually is a mistake I've made in the past as well. I've had several people on my show, on the podcast, who've talked about, hey, because somebody looks like they're doing something great, because I'm going to pay for whatever conference or whatever it is I'm doing or whatever that person's doing, it looks great, I'm just going to pay it. No, that is not the case. You yourself, when you pay for a coach, now that coach works for you. All right. I want to make sure I'm clear on saying this because I've given a lot of flowers, or I've given a lot of praise towards Dre, because Dre is the person that I've been talking about in terms of who I paid for his program and stuff like that. And one of the things that one of the things that he helped me see and I learned is that when you pay someone, now that person works for you. Now that person works for you, and it's up to you to get the most out of the program. It's up to you to ask the right questions. It's up to you to show up on the calls. It's up to you to, walk into certain meetings and walk into certain calls, walk into certain conversations, having tried this, having tried that, having reached out to this person, having reached out to that person, and you fail. You didn't get the results you wanted to get. You bring the person the process, and then they're giving you some advice based on how you were able to go about it. That's what I mean. That's what didn't get mentioned. This is why I'm kind of combing through the article and making sure I'm bringing up certain points. Is when we look at reason number 1, right? Actually, forgot to do this. I actually forgot to do this. I'm gonna do it now. When we look at reason number 1, right? Be a paying member. You got to understand now that being a paying member means you got to show up. You got to show up every single day. One of the things that I actually learned as I was going through this process, because this was something that was new to me, I had never actually paid for someone to coach me up like this, is week to week. It was a week to week thing to where we would meet every Saturday on a Zoom call. And I started to get the understanding that throughout that 7 days or through that 6-day stretch or whatever it was, I had to take action based on what I learned about my business that Saturday. All right. So that Saturday, between that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the Saturday, and then obviously meet up that Saturday, something had to change. There need to be phone calls made. Something needed to be changed about the system. Some sort of kink needed to be worked out. And if I didn't have the experience, if I didn't go out and do certain things, no coach is going to help you. Don't give a shit how much you actually pay them. It's a matter of you taking action and doing the work that you said you were going to do. That is very, very key when you're talking about actually creating the results and getting to the desired results. All right. So let me pull it back up here as it plays and let's go.
It is. Getting the right people on staff, which is exactly what the Move Swift Plus Lie brand is built around, guide you and help you But what was impressive? She had a packed house, loyal fans, a full show. That's the power of attracting your tribe. Second, because I hold myself accountable to do a better job in this area. If you want to dig deeper, check out my video Attracting Your Tribe, watch it here. All right, let's get into the list. 1. Be a paying member. And yes, I said paying for a reason. Following someone on social media for free won't get you what you really need. If you want honest, brutally honest feedback that'll move your business forward, you've got to invest. Pay someone who's already where you want to be and let them show you what you don't know.
You don't know.
Business requires a strong, sometimes stubborn mindset.
Right.
You need someone to challenge you, guide you, and help you focus on serving the right people. For me, that clarity only came after I paid for coaching. That's how I discovered my ideal clients. Business owners with 20 plus employees, single moms raising young athletes, sports coaches with an entrepreneurial mindset. And you know what their consistent complaint is. Getting the right people on staff, which is exactly what the Move Swift Plus Lie brand is built around. 2. Know the consistent complaint. Want to attract your tribe. Solve the problem they complain about over and over again. Once you're clear on your ideal audience, ask yourself, what do they consistently struggle with? Then build your brand, message, and offer around solving that specific issue better than anyone else.
All right, so this is the key here. This is the key. When you're talking about this particular thing, a lot of people don't understand the importance of this, because if you get it's very easy. We'll say it like this, and this is something I experience every single day working in education, be it not only education, but previously my time in fitness and athletics and just life in general. It's so easy, and because we're absolutely bombarded with these messages every day, it's so easy to complain. It's so easy. It is so damn easy to look for somebody else to blame. It's so easy. It's all around us. It almost seems like there's an acceptance when it comes to how, when you're faced with a problem, when you're faced with a situation that comes up, it becomes an acceptance thing, that it becomes accepted for you to complain with everybody else, right? Whether you're kind of programmed to do this. This is why, again, one of the reasons I'm a firm believer. I am strongly considering, or strongly would like to homeschool my own kids, because what happens in the school system is you put a bunch of kids in one classroom, and they start to develop their bonds. They start to develop their own friendships and things like that. And you have a teacher who's paid not to necessarily educate the kids. They're paid to help the kids memorize certain things for certain test scores, so they look better in their salaries and their tenures, and they're able to establish a certain structure in their own jobs, a certain salary and all that kind of stuff. Their money's now tied in to test scores. So they're not necessarily coming at it with a mentality of, I want to teach this kid something new. I want to teach this kid to be an independent thinker. I want to teach this kid to be a critical thinker. I want to teach this kid to question things and, go out into life and figure certain things out. That's not what the majority of educators are actually here to do. So you fall into a place where there's a disconnect between the natural development of a young mind versus the older person who's the teacher, who now wants to keep their job. And you are going to continuously fall into a clash. There's always going to be a clash, no matter what, when it comes to worldviews. All right. And what starts to happen is the kids in the classroom, they start complaining about the teacher, and the teacher is complaining about the administrators. And then everyone's just simply complaining about how the district, now the administrators are complaining about the district is complaining about the government, and government's complaining about whatever they're complaining about. Well, this one does this and this one. You just get a bunch of complaining to the point where it almost feels normal. Specifically, you have friends right now that you met because the two of you shared a common complaint. And I'm not even saying all that is a bad thing. I'm just saying there is going to always be something that folks are going to complain about. Here's what you do. And here's where we get back to what we talked about when it comes to knowing your tribe and you being the leader. You got to know that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Come on. You got to know, based on your tribe of people, based on your tribe of people that you want to serve, you got to go into it knowing what you're going to complain about, knowing exactly, you got to know it beyond knowing it, know it before it even comes out of their mouth. One of the things, let me tell you, one of the greatest things, or the best things that I used to do or learn best things I learned when I was a sales associate for a company named LA Fitness, which a lot of people have done that as well, is it was great because I knew the fitness business at that point. And I was telling them, like some of the sales I would get, I was telling them what they wanted before it even came out of their mouth. You know what I'm saying? They were like, I want to lose such and such pounds by this date. And I'm telling them, well, you got to do this, that, and the third, and you got to do this class. And then by this day, like before it's coming out of their mouth, I knew what they actually wanted. And that's what gets the sale. That's what makes you the leader. That's what makes you the trusted individual. And even when it comes to becoming a paying member, if you want to go back to reason number 2, is a lot of times before I even would come up with the complaint, I remember Dre would be like, man, you're preaching to the choir. I've already been there. I've already been there, done that, seen that. This is how you move forward. This is how you, express. This is how you move forward from just, if I want to give you a specific example, let's say because I don't have really a family member that's doing a lot of public speaking, or no one in my family really wrote books like that or is in the thought leadership world. It's like, no, I've already been there, done that. You just got to actually get to develop some substance. You got to actually just change your system. Stuff like that is absolutely important because you know the complaint. If you know a person's complaint before it comes out of their mouth and you express it and you nail it and you hit the right chord with them, you will have a loyal tribe of people forever. I'm saying this from my heart. This is off script stuff. I want you guys to hear me from my heart. If you know the complaints of your ideal customer, your ideal client, that complaint, and you're able to express that complaint before it comes out of their mouth, you will have attracted and you would have brought in a loyal member, a loyal person to your business for life. Their loyalty to you will absolutely be, just untouched. They will love you. They will move with you. They will absolutely run through a wall for you. You see, that's what I saw. That was the one thing that we were seeing last week when I was referring to the comedian that we saw. When you really broke it down and you watched these ladies and how she attracted these ladies to her comedy show, it didn't matter it didn't matter what it was. They were going to stay loyal to this woman for life because they heard her say some things about being pregnant, about doing this, whatever it was. All right. The complaint that they had was something that she expressed, and she expressed it publicly. Well, we're going to get to the importance. That brings me to one of the other reasons where it's important to actually speak on these things publicly. But for now, again, I digress. Again, you guys expect to understand this about me at this point. Certain things are very important, very, very, very important for me to break down. So next one is going to be aligning two worlds. Align two worlds.
Someone else. 3.
So actually,
align ideal audience.
Let me just pause real quick because I gotta make sure. I forgot to put the I was so excited to talk about this. I forgot to put the banners. Get the banners ready. So let me just get these last 2 ready, and then we will close you out in about 20 minutes here. All right. So number 3, aligning 2 worlds. What the hell does that mean, Aswan? Let's break it all down. Make sure we're back up. All right, cool. Let's break it all down. Let's talk about it. Aligning 2 worlds.
Audience. Ask yourself, what do they consistently struggle with? Then build your brand, message, and offer around solving that specific issue better than anyone else.
Yes, sir.
3, align 2 worlds. This one's underrated. You are not the only person offering your service. So why would someone choose you? Because your life experience allows you to solve the same problem from a unique perspective. When I first moved to South Florida, I worked for the Miami Dolphins Foundation and also trained clients at 9-round kickboxing. Those 2 worlds, corporate level sports and small business fitness, taught me how to bridge gaps for the clients I now serve. Your combination of experience is your edge. Align your worlds. Use them to serve.
Use them to serve. All right. So again, this one's going to require some real deep thinking because newsflash, breaking news for everyone out there. Whatever services you're offering, you ain't the only one. whatever it is you think you're doing, whatever book you wrote or podcast you have, article, speech you gave, workshop, whatever it is you're offering, however you're offering it, especially if you're talking in the thought leadership world, in the business ownership world, whatever it is, you're not the only one offering it. The reason people are buying what are going to buy what you're offering is because you have given them a unique perspective. You have been able to give them something that they believe, that they make it so they believe in you over a period of time. But you're not the only one doing it. This is very, very important for you to understand. This is why every single morning when you hear me pull up, turn this camera on, thank you guys, turn this camera on to give my Move Swiftly thought, it's Aswan Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, checking in for a daily Move Swiftly thought, giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Go pull up the receipts. It's 1,205 daily Move Swiftly thoughts, where I've said the same thing over and over, giving you some of the stuff before I actually get into the substance of whatever I'm going to be talking about that day. Giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Giving you a perspective on teamwork that you will not get anywhere else. Knowing that is incredibly important because it's aligning two worlds. It's aligning the worlds in which I have been so immersed in and so deeply bought into, from the major big time sports programs that are pulling in a lot of money because they have such popularity and they have huge fan bases, and the fitness world as well. That same things that a business owner who is trying to run their fitness business, whether it's a personal trainer, whether it's someone that actually has a gym, whether it's someone that bought into a franchise, whether it's someone that is just trying to build out a group fitness program, a group fitness trend, whatever it is, I've been able to align those two worlds. And I'm not the only one that has alluded to this or dived into this, but I want to remind everyone every single day that those are the two worlds that I was able to align. And that's what gave me the perspective on teamwork, to where you got to take that world, merge them and say, this is how you solve your problem. This is how you solve whatever problem you have as you're thinking about your ideal client. All right. And obviously when it comes to the worlds I just mentioned, fitness and athletics, big corporate, big huge fan bases, that athletic programs and athletic teams that have huge fan bases, and the fitness world, there's a ton of possible solutions when it comes to these three people that I mentioned: business owners, single moms, and sports coaches with an entrepreneurial mindset. There's a ton, it is absolutely endless amount. It's absolutely an endless amount of solutions for these groups of people. I challenge you all. And not only do I challenge you all, but I encourage you all to get onto that type of thinking, because when you're able to give that perspective, again, we're talking about a tribe here. We're talking about attracting your tribe. We're talking about attracting people into your world. And when you're able to talk to people like I'm talking to you right now, just straight from experience, just straight off the cuff, just straight, no plan, just going at it, they start to believe. They start to believe, and you want people believing in your stuff every single day. You want them believing in it just because it's Tuesday morning, not just when it's convenient, not just when they've paid for, not when they just paid to go see you at some conference, not when they just paid for your book, you want them doing it. You want them absolutely walking with you, walking on fire with you, you want to be walking them through this thing called life. One of my favorite Jay-Z quotes is people going through hard, I'm just walking them through it. All right, we just walking them through it. It was a song, You're Welcome by Mary J. Blige. People going through pain, I'm just walking them through it. People going through it. Think about that. Think about the lines. Think about the power in that. People going through pain, I'm just walking them through. Another one of the lyrics that he has is what's buried under there in December. This to go back to December 4th. I remember doing a video about this. If you go back to the Black album and the song December 4th, where he said it's what's buried under there was a kid torn apart once his pop disappeared. I went to school, got good grades, could behave when I wanted, but I had demons deep inside that were raised when confronted. Come on, man. Come on. Come on. That's what I'm talking about. Walking people through the pain. If you go back, let's just break it all down. You know the consistent complaint, and then you're aligning the two worlds. When you take those two reasons, those two ways, what's the consistent complaint? How do you align the two worlds? And you are like the key. You are like the plug. You are like the person that is able to solve that problem. People will absolutely love you. You will absolutely have them hooked, but it's your responsibility as a leader to keep making the right decisions and keep making the decisions with those folks in mind. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. All right. So aligning those two worlds, absolutely important. And I mean what I said in the article, where it's absolutely underrated. It's underrated because you get a lot of people. This is where, when you're on your entrepreneurial journey, somebody offers you a certain amount of money and you can forget about serving the folks or serving clients and things like that. And you just want to take the money and act like you're doing something. You want to pretend like you want to be imposter. You want to be an imposter and pretend like you actually doing something versus actually really doing something and creating something on your own and making it so people are following you and they're not following a company or some company policy. You have it in you to create. All right. So aligning two worlds. Next one is about speak it. All right, let me put it up here before I let it play. Very much like I've already started alluding to, but I'll let it play and then we'll address it.
To serve. 4. Speak publicly about it. Yes, you. It's 2025. The internet isn't going anywhere. If you've got a message or a solution that can help people, they're looking for it. And if they can't find you, they'll hire someone else.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get comfortable with public speaking, posting content, sharing your ideas. Visibility is credibility. The more people hear your voice, the more likely they are to trust it.
All right, so let's get into that one. So it's a lot because, believe it or not, and I remember doing a podcast. I was actually a guest on I can't remember the name of the show. I was a guest on the person's podcast about 2 years ago. And this was a little bit after my podcast was getting established. Again, it was around the time I was paying for coaching and stuff like that. So obviously wasn't as my online presence wasn't as established as it is today. But at that point, I had developed my ability to tell my story. I had developed my ability to publicly speak the problems and the things that I was seeing, that I was going through. It became so absolutely gut-wrenching and too much for me to stay quiet about. All right. The kind of mess that I was seeing in all three of the worlds that I look to serve, the fitness world, the athletics world, and the education world, all three of them absolute mess. It just triggered me to the point where I couldn't stay quiet about just the dirt and some of the bullshit that I had to see, especially from the people who call themselves leaders in these industries, right? So I made it a point to become a public speaker. I made it a point to practice, look at myself in the mirror, get onto my delivery, figure out how I was going to do this. And then I was a guest on certain people's podcasts. And I would tell them when they asked me about my upbringing and the childhood and all that, I would tell them, look, I was a very shy kid. I was very shy, very reserved, very much. I would not speak. I mean, I just wasn't that type of a guy. And I remember getting a response from that person, like a host, like, you were shy? You of all people? And I'm like, yep, it did not happen overnight. It only happened because the subject matter. You understand what I'm saying? So when you think about attracting your tribe and understand what I wrote there. And by the way, you guys, to read the full thing, it's on medium.com. At least 3 articles of mine come out every single week. But when you think about speaking publicly about it, understand this reality. All right. Understand the reality that, like I said before, you're not the only one offering this service. And if people want your solution, they're going to look for the most efficient and cost-effective way to solve whatever problem that they have. Say it again for the people in the back. All right. When people have an issue, they have a problem that they want solved, they're going to look for the most efficient and cost-effective ways to solve that problem. If you're not available in the most efficient and cost-effective way, all right, you will not be found. So that means you have to have some sort of online presence in which you're speaking about these things publicly, that people can find you, because that's what they're going to do. They're going to look you up. If you offer some service, you meet some person. This is true, and not just in business. We're talking about in a social, in a romantic setting, and whatever it is you're trying to pursue. They're going to look you up and see if they can find stuff and, you know, establish whatever conclusions that they're drawing based on what they see on the internet, because that's the new way. That's the new norm. And if you are passionate, if you're passionate and you want to solve a problem and you're really just sick and tired of dealing with the same thing and doing this and doing that, and you're not speaking publicly about it and you're not talking about it publicly, I can't go look you up somewhere and get an idea, get a feel for your thoughts. You're a dinosaur. You're a dinosaur. I get that it wasn't always like that, but shit is changing. Shit has changed, motherfucker. Shit has changed. It has changed. It has absolutely changed. And if you are not speaking about the issues that are absolutely ripping at your heartstrings, absolutely driving you crazy, you're a dinosaur. And being a dinosaur, you know what happened to the dinosaurs, right? They got extinct, and people move forward. Even though, again, you can have an unbelievable solution to whatever the problem is. And I swear, I promise that you do. If you keep up with my work and you keep up with the work I do, and you are a fan of me, and you're one of the members of my tribe, I'm telling you, I know your heart. I know the kind of stuff I put out every day. I know everything I say. I know it is coming from a deep hurt place, a place in which you were hurt, and you can't follow me over a period of time if you're not moving in that same direction where you want to be judged harshly, you want to be evaluated, you want to get better, you want to absolutely solve the problem. You can't be the person staying quiet. It won't work. It won't work. It won't work. Say it again. It won't work. Got to speak on it boldly, authentically, and absolutely be that person that is going to say it regardless. That has to happen. It has to happen. You have to do whatever it is you have to do to get over that fear of public speaking. All right. I'm not sitting here telling you it's easy. Don't misconstrue my words. Don't get me wrong. I know it's not an easy task. I know what I had to do to develop this presence, and I still don't consider myself all the way where it is I need to be. Right. But at the end of the day, there's a mindset, there's a trajectory where the problem I'm looking to solve for my clients is bigger than whatever fear I may have. And that gets me through. Another Jay-Z quote, when I have a lot of them, by the way, he said, "I will not lose, for even in defeat, there's a valuable lesson learned. So it evens it up for me." Come on, man. Come on. And we talk about the best. All right, let's get to number 5, because I see I'm running. I try to keep these around an hour. So let's get to number 5. Probably the most, before I go, probably the most important reason of all this. For those of you, if you're just joining in, we are breaking down the top 5 ways to attract your tribe. We've gone through be a paying member. Make this a little. Be a paying member. Number 1. We've gone through knowing the consistent complaint. We've gone through aligning 2 worlds, and we've gone through speaking about it publicly. And in my opinion, you can develop your own opinion if you'd like. I believe number 5 is the most important, because this is the core of it, man. This right here is the core of it. This is where you start to unlearn the bullshit. Say it again. This is where you start unlearning the bullshit that you picked up in school. This is where you unlearn the bullshit that they taught you in the school system, and you start saying to yourself, I'm going to be a lifelong learner, versus versus somebody that learned something that I can memorize and get a certain letter grade on a test. No, I'm going to reject that mindset, and I'm going to continuously learn for the rest of my life, because I want to be a lifetime learner. And there's absolutely nothing, there's no point in time where I'm just going to know everything. There's no point. I don't want to hear the bullshit. Listen, there's no point in life where you're just gonna know everything, and because you are you, because you lived through this and you did this, and I taught for this amount of years, and I did that, I have this degree, and I got this master's, and I've been here. No point. I don't give a shit what it is. Are you just gonna know everything? All right. So this is where we unlearn that nonsense, we reject that bullshit where you feel like you just know everything, and you start to say to yourself, I need to have the mindset of continuously learning whatever it is I need to learn, because I'm serving a higher purpose, right? I'm serving something. I'm serving a problem. I'm serving an epidemic. I'm serving to the point where I want to solve a problem that's absolutely tugging at my heartstrings, and I will die trying to solve this problem. So I'm not going to stop learning for those reasons. Let me let it play because now you got me. I'm out here preaching now. Preaching on a Tuesday morning service. Come on, somebody.
5. Do not stop learning, looking for it. And if they can't find you, they'll hire someone else. You have to get comfortable with public speaking, posting content, sharing your ideas. Visibility is credibility. The more people hear your voice, the more likely they are to trust it. 5. Do not stop learning. Let's bring this full circle. Remember that comedian I mentioned earlier? While we weren't blown away by her material, we still left with a lesson. That's the mindset I encourage you to develop. Stay learning. Stay curious, because your clients' problems will never stop, and it's your job to grow into the person who can solve them better and faster. Ready to...
Period, point blank, end of sentence. And again, you guys can go read the whole thing, medium.com. Just look up as one Crookshank on medium.com. And I want to close you guys out really understanding that last point. All right. I was incredibly blessed to have a 2-parent household. All right. I was incredibly blessed to have mother, father, older sister, all 3 of them, being the youngest, all 3 of them having taught me so much more than what I learned when I went to school, that I did not feel like these teachers were just there just because I didn't feel like these teachers had credibility that they didn't earn, right? The teachers actually, and it's actually, to be 100% honest with you, being an educator myself, it's the same way now. It's the same way to this day. I have not changed one bit. In fact, I was just talking to one of my boys from high school. He's out. Shout out to Danny Parker. He's been on the show. He's go back and listen to the live stream we did last year. We were talking NIL, and he played at Duke, and right now it's a big time for Duke and all that kind of stuff. But he was telling me how we're catching up and seeing how guys are doing, and guys we went to school with and stuff like that. And he was saying, no, you cannot surprise me based on how we graduated class of 07. And he's like, nobody, based on how they're doing, I guarantee you it will not surprise me how they ended up based on what they did in high school. And then we started, chatting about some guys and seeing what they're doing. And he was actually turned out to be right. I tried to prove him wrong, but he turned out to be right. And for me, it's been the same way. I've been a person that has been educated more in the home between my older sister, my mother, and my father. They were able to teach me things that teachers were not able to teach me. And for that, I didn't give these teachers an automatic level of credibility. That it just wasn't happening. They had to actually prove that they had some substance. Now, granted, I was blessed enough to also run into some just legendary football coaches along the way. So you take that mix in terms of what it is I learned in the home versus what I learned from the guys on the football field. Listen, I wanted, and I still have the mentality to this day, I wanted to actually be coached up to have some substance. I wanted the coach to have some substance. And I looked at that and I applied these things to every facet of my life. want to be judged harshly, want to have that critique, want to make sure that I'm doing what I have to do, because the problems and the things I'm looking to solve and the work that I'm willing to put in, it's something that tugs at my heartstrings day in and day out, and I will not stop. I will not stop. And I implore you, I'm giving you my story because I'm a leader in amongst that group of people that I spoke about, you know, the tribe of people I spoke about, and I'm imploring you, I'm advising you of the same thing. Make sure the problem is so big, it tugs at your heartstrings so much, it breaks your heart every single time you think about it, to the point where you will not stop. And you will not stop learning. And I guarantee you the results will come. The results will come. So that's all I got for you guys today. It was, as always, I actually feel myself getting better as I'm doing these things. But again, let me just pull up the website one more time to dive deeper into all of the work I'm doing, and have me come out, host a workshop for your staff. So again, like I promised earlier, right? We're going to have a staff of hungry people. We're going to have a staff of motivated folks, right? Simply go to makeyourmove.com. That's makeyourmove.com. As you can see here on the screen, it's your one-stop shop for all your teamwork and your self-development needs. As one Crookshank, your one and only Move Swiftly speaker. Check it out. You guys continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.